Good afternoon. Welcome to Entrepreneurial Live Interviews with Connie Fuchsa. I do this interview series because I want to share with you guys some people that have seen some changes or seen some things in the world that maybe they wanted to do differently than is currently being done. Maybe they saw an opportunity. Maybe they saw an opportunity to help someone else. Maybe they saw an opportunity to make something better, create a widget that works for everybody, something that's being missed in the marketplace, in the world. And I've come across some amazing entrepreneurs that have all different kinds of stories, but I like this particular story so much. It's so exciting and it's so energizing because these people took something that was very dear to their heart and figured out how to help other people with it. And a nonprofit is just as hard, if not harder, than starting a business on an entrepreneurial side for income. And so I'm so excited to share these guys with you today because they really are doing some amazing things, but not only who they're helping, but how they're helping them. This is such a creative story and I just can't wait to share with you guys. So I want to introduce you guys to Eddie and Ginny Brown. Eddie and Ginny, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah,
we're glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to share your story. So that's exactly what I want you to do first, is I want you to tell everybody who you are, how you got to where you are now, and what is it that you're doing now. So give us a little bit of background about you first.
Sure. Well, we are Eddie and Ginny Brown, and we have been married for about 10 years now. And near the beginning of our marriage, we went on a missions trip to Honduras, and we there realized that we really wanted to have an impact on the people in Honduras and specifically helping them get jobs, helping them survive just the day-to-day living situations. And so we came up with this idea for an organization called Giving Words, where we would send college students or graduate students to Honduras for a certain amount of time to teach English. And when those people could learn English, then they would then be able to move out of poverty because they could use their English skills. And so that's where this idea of Giving Words came from. And so that was at the very beginning of our relationship. And then our relationship took lots of twists and turns. And in those twists and turns, we really got locked down to staying in Central Virginia, but really still had that same passion to see people who are oppressed in some way get out from underneath that oppression. And we realized that our combined experiences really did lead to helping single mothers and their children. And so we started an organization in 2017 called Giving Words, which helps single mothers with lots of their needs. But of course, car repair has become the first and most important need that always shows up first. Like there's all the other needs come along, but that's the one that is a problem whether they know it or not. And so I'll let Eddie give you a little bit of his background on how he got to wanting to serve single moms, and then I'll come back and share how I did that.
Sure. So a really key component for me, I was in high school and I had a very close friend, and her mother took care of foster children. And so I'd go over there and hang out during the day. And I watched her give these children supplements to detox them from drugs. And so these were babies that were drug addicted because their mothers were addicted to drugs while they were pregnant. And so that had a profound impact on me. And I immediately began to think, why is this and what is the solution? And, when we look back, hindsight's 2020. And so that was really when the seed was first planted. And so my heart for children really began at that point. And then later on in life, when, Ginny spoke about Honduras, I went over there on that missions trip to do help with Vacation Bible School. We were at the bottom of the mountain. I was sitting in the bus. I looked out the window. I actually still have the picture. I've got the picture of the foster kids that I saw that I carry with me just because it had such a huge impact. I also have this picture of this Honduran boy going through a dumpster, getting his necessities for the day, half roll of toilet paper, half eaten mashed potatoes that were McDonald's, and some other items, which were all necessities. And so I immediately looked at that and I went, okay, same thing with the foster kids. What's going on? Why is this happening? And how do I flip the script on it? And so I began immediately to study. And so in Honduras, If you learn English, you move from poverty to middle class. So you go from dirt floors, tin shanty to middle class because you're employable immediately. And then if he teaches his family English, then you're moving the whole system. And so with very small impact or small input, you get a great amount of impact. And so by taking, Jenny's an English teacher. And so, and we have other English teachers. And so we could go there and have a massive impact with a small investment. And so our lives kind of twisted and turned a little bit. And, my dad had a heart attack, so that kind of locked us in with recovery with him. Then my grandmother needed my help. And so that I spent time with her for about 3 years, taking care of her. And then we got custody of my granddaughter, Charlotte, at 4 months old. And so that's what kind of held us here. And then part of the thread for single moms is my mom was raised by a single mom with 4 children, and it didn't go very well. My sister's been a single mom twice. And so it's just kind of been something that's been threaded through my life. And my experience, I've been in the trust industry for about 23 years. I've been successful. I've flipped a trust plan. I had $1 million turnaround cash flow in a trust plant in about 12 months. And kind of what I had looking at this Honduras thing is how can I move from dropping money to the bottom line to dropping money to impact? And so that's where Giving Words was created. And to give you just a small example, we gave away 4 cars on Giving Tuesday last year. It was $11,000 worth of vehicles, and we had $700 in all 4 cars because they were community donated. And using the career and technical education from the high school, we get free labor. And then when you combine that with discounts with partner auto parts shops, we can do I've done a $700 repair for less than $100. And so if you look at the demographics of single moms and 16.2 million, you're not going to solve that with money. You're going to solve that with community partners, community coming together to tackle that. And really the goal is to take a single mom, move her from stress and struggle to where she can actually sit down and engage her child and love on that child and invest in that child and not wonder how she's going to eat or how she's going to get to work. And so I'll let Ginny kind of go on because I've talked rather much.
So Eddie had, secondary experience as a single parent. But I actually come from 4 generations of single mothers in one way or another through separation, divorce, adoption, those kind of things. And honestly, even though I had a really great mother and we had a lot of resources, there were still few enough resources that by the time I was in high school, I definitely was experiencing the lack primarily of positive male role models, but even also just, at times financial lack or at times support or something like that. And so then when I myself experienced divorce and my kids went through it too, I was just really grieved and heartbroken over that. And I don't want any of my heartbreaks to just end with heartbreaking healing, but instead that there comes some type of restoration and there comes something better out of it. And so when I realized, as we grew together, we realized that we had these skills, that with his entrepreneurial skills and my family history and my ability to teach because I am a teacher and my connections to the resources in this community as an educator for 20 years could really blend and help the very people that I understood the most, which was single moms and their children. And one of the things that's really motivated that has just been my heart for kids all along. I've certainly worked with everyone from infants to adults in some type of teaching place, but kids are just really the ones that have my heart, and then parents too. So that's kind of how we ended up with Giving Words. But then of course what happened, all of these events tied us to here. Also another thing that tied us to here was a lot of unrest that was going on in Honduras that limited us from going there. And so especially when we got custody of Charlotte, we just said we have to refine our vision or we may never fulfill our vision. And so at first the vision was just very broadly, we're going to understand what single mothers need. And then we're going to try to figure out how to how to meet those needs. And those needs are a lot. But right now, the primary thing that we're working on is cars, but we also have done things like home repair and are looking at more permanent housing solutions because that's also an issue.
Gosh, you guys, I mean, this is amazing. And I'm making notes because there's so many things I want to touch on here. But what I love is how you you met each other, you go to Honduras, you see this need and you say, gosh, I want to make a difference. So we're going to do this. And then your life changes. And, I want people to recognize this because, we all think that we know what our plan is and you get this nice little plan all set up and you get everything all set. And then all of a sudden something drops out of the sky and says, that's not happening. That is not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. And so some of us would take that as a difficult situation or a bad sign and say, okay, never mind, it's not going to work. But I love what you guys did is you took your personal situations and, like you just said, Ginny, you refined what your true mission was. And although that wasn't not important to you anymore, it just wasn't feasible. So how could you have that same resources, those same pieces, that same love that you wanted to create something and do it in your local community? So I love this. Right. And so I want to go back to some of that because when you say giving words, so did you, and this seems like a quirky question, but it keeps coming back in my mind. So I realized giving words was because that's what you were doing for the folks and the children and folks in Honduras.
Right.
But obviously your redefined mission changed a little bit. So was there ever a time that you thought, well, maybe we need to give this a different name or a different plan? Or did you just say, hey, no, this defines where our heart is no matter what it is. And this is what we're doing.
Yeah. So if you go to the website or look at the logo, you'll see a hand in hand, and that obviously is the mom's hand with the child's hand in it, and then in the fingers it has words in it, and so we're giving words to mothers, words of hope, and hands that help, and so that's how that now connects. Right. And so if you go back and think about the child digging through that dumpster. That was where the vision was sparked. And that's still so much part of our story. But if you think about giving words and partnerships, so if we have partnerships in an area, we can create a giving words. And so why not local, regional, national? So where's an auto parts store? Everywhere. Where's a career and technical education program? Everywhere. One thing I'll tell you right now that anybody can do right now in a community, so our mothers naturally need clothes. And so one of the things I've been operating on is the 5 to 5,000 principle. How do I take, right out of the Bible, how do I take small and make big? And so I could have went out and bought $100 Target gift cards and give them out, or I could partner with a consignment shop where ladies in the community can donate clothes to the Giving Words account. And then when those clothes sell, they fund the account, and then our mothers shop there for free with a voucher. And so that can be done in any community. And so now that's a non-expense to Giving Words where I can take that money that would have been spent on clothes and spend it on car repair. And so it's thinking through things like that. Another example, we had somebody give us a dryer from Charlottesville. I reached out to a storage unit facility. They gave us a 50% discount. Now we got storage. A mom needed that dryer in the middle of the winter, so I took the dryer to her. I picked up a broken dryer. So now that I have this broken dryer, I can take it to the dump. But if I partner with an appliance repair shop, maybe I can fix it and give it away again. And so a diagnosis fee, $75. Then you got the parts, and then you got the labor. Well, the partner that I have will actually diagnose it for free, repair it for parts only, labor free. And now I'm able to give away something that's broken to another mother. So now I've helped two mothers instead of one, and it means no repairs. And you get out of the endless 6 months, no interest, 28.99% that never gets paid, and they own this thing forever. So that one process there, and there's so many other things that we can create. And we both still work full time and do Giving Words, and so we're kind of walking that tightrope. But that's where things have to start at the beginning.
So I love this whole conversation about partnerships because, you know, a lot of times when people start a nonprofit, they need funds, they need money to make it work. And what you guys have decided to do is obviously donations are fantastic, but it's not always practical that you're going to get the money that you need. And you guys have figured out how to reach out to businesses in your community and say, or areas, you know, like the school partnership in the technical community, you figured out how to reach out to these organizations and entities and say, look, I don't want your donation. I mean, I would love it, but this is what I need more is I need you to supplement the cost of this, or I need you to get me a part for its cost, or do that repair, or, you know, and I love that because as a person that's in the business for more than 30 years, everybody would always come to me, hey, I need a donation. Hey, I need a donation, which is fine. It's just sometimes it's more advantageous and it's better for us as the business to be able to say, how can I help you in a way that has a huge or more practical impact? And you figured that magic out, which is absolutely incredible. I just love this story. You also told me a little bit about when we were offline about your computer system and how that kind of transpired, and is sort of along the same lines. You've been able to do so much with that as well. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I just love the entrepreneurial mind here working, saying, how can I create this? How can I make it work? Yeah, but you know what? It takes the mechanics and it takes the thought. So Ginny, you've got the mechanics to help people out, and Eddie puts together
and I have the writing abilities to, but
that's exactly right. And it takes all of those pieces to make this kind of stuff work. But talk to us a little bit about that too, Eddie, because that's a pretty amazing part of the story as well.
Yeah. So we started out with spreadsheets, and then we moved to about 4 or 5 different spreadsheets. And if you think about just the logistics alone, you know, somebody donates a car. So you've got a car and then you've got to give it away. Well, if you've got 10 cars and you give a car away and you highlight it green and all that stuff, that's nice. And then, you know, then that car is going to be, you know, they donate it, it's delivered to the school. Well, which school was it delivered to? And is it repaired yet, or is it not repaired yet? Have you ordered the parts yet, or have you not ordered the parts yet? Are they working on them? Is it done? So lots of spreadsheets. And so Ginny and I had another vision for a tiny house community for single moms as transitional living, to where they could actually live at the tiny house community. As their income increased, the rent would increase. That rent addition would go into escrow to where they could be a first-time home buyer when they left. And if you think about utilizing partnerships, so if I can hand out car keys from a high school, why can't I hand out house keys?
Yeah.
And so I drew.
You need to say to him, hold on a second. Ginny, I see his brain going like this, and sometimes you're probably saying, wait,
he's fine. He's fine. Go ahead.
I love it.
So we flew out to Texas to Community First. It's a tiny house community that's operational and working. I didn't know about it when I come up with my idea. We stayed there on site. It was absolutely amazing. The impact that they're having on the homeless. And they're actually 3D printing houses out there. I mean, it's like really amazing. And so we actually are using the software they're using, because I'm always like, you know, and I called the software company. I said, look, I'm not a $60 million nonprofit. So how do I get into the sandbox edge to where I can change out the motors as we go, as we advance? And so that's basically what happened. So we brought on Social Solutions. What that allows me to do is a planned growth is I can actually activate multiple locations with that software. I actually have a car inventory in there where we have outgrown that system 3 times already. I'm in another third software build to where we could have dealerships donate cars. You know, we're set up now where one individual could donate a car, but if they donated a second car, you kind of run into an issue. And so a dealer could donate multiple cars, use it as a tax write-off. And then the other thing that happens, if you think about trade-ins, you get this trade-in, it needs too much work, and you end up wholesaling it. Well, they could give it to Giving Words, get a tax write-off, and then we could send it to the CTE program, and then the students are working on it. And the thing that's so neat to me about that is usually when we give a car away, we have at least 2 to 3 students in tears, because they see this mother come in, they see this emotion, and they've put all this work and toil into this vehicle, and then they see the byproduct of it. And so money can't buy character building. And so part of our process of investing in this mother and taking her to the next level is also an investment to our future. And some of these students are students of single mothers.
Yeah, of course.
And so to me, it kind of works full circle.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of been amazing. But that software is going to continue to allow us growth. Obviously, we're not at a place of replicating yet, but we're moving toward that, because you don't want to replicate. You want to have all your systems and processes in place to where when you replicate, you don't have 15 problems opposed to just one.
Right, absolutely.
But our hope is local, regional, national, and to be able to have this impact in multiple communities, because it's community based. It's based off partnerships. I mean, if you have a career in technical education, you've got a partner church for community. You've got a repair shop, a consignment shop, a storage facility shop. I mean, I've kind of blueprinted this out to what you could have where with what type of partnerships. And it's been really, I love to create, I love to design. My heart as a young child was to be an inventor. And I think I invent processes.
Yes, that's what he invents. Absolutely.
Really well, let me ask you a couple of things about that. So do you know, how long have you guys been working with single moms? And how many single moms do you think that you've helped with a car? And talk to me a little bit about the identifying the car being the first need, why that matters, and what that's all about. So give me a little bit of that.
Okay. So when I was younger, I couldn't afford to pay a mechanic to fix my car, so I fixed my car in the driveway. So that gave me a lot of education. And when I was laying there in the gravel with a tarp over the hood in the rain, I would go, Lord, I don't know what you're going to use this for. But now I do. And so pretty much what happened early on, we would do an intake with a mom, and she wouldn't even have a car need. And I'm saying, hey, I'm going to go outside and look at your car. Well, there was no oil at all. So I had to go buy oil and put oil in it. The inside edge of the tires of one mom's car had the wires showing. She's got 2 kids, single mom, and going to have possible 2 blowouts within the next week and a half. And we just happened to meet her for dinner that night to do an intake. Busted drive axles. I mean, every time I look at a car, I have not looked at one mother's car yet and not found something that needs to be fixed. And so that's 100% of our mothers have a car issue. But they don't know, because as long as the key turns and it cranks, we're good. When it starts making a noise, we're still kind of good. If it's doing something weird, we got a problem. And so that's why cars rose right up to the top, and that's right in my wheelhouse.
I love it. I love it. That's interesting, because it's not what you would think when you say I'm going to, help single moms and their children. That's not the first thing that at least comes to my mind and says, oh, this is what our first need is. Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely recognized that cars were going to be an issue, because they were my issue. That was one of my issues, and housing was an issue, and childcare was an issue, and having community support and free time was an issue, and having enough money for extras like Christmas or the beginning of school or birthdays or field trips. All of those things played into my life, even when I had a college degree. Of course, I did choose to be a teacher, so that limited me a little bit, but I had some community support. And so we went in with with a broad vision of, we'll help where we're needed. But those cars just kept on coming up and kept on coming up. And then also the resources to fix them have also just been right at our fingertips. And so we're still exploring some of those other issues that we can help with. But just giving someone rent doesn't really make sense. There's really a lot of places already that do that. And that really isn't solving the problem. It's only fixing it for that month. And so that's why we're looking into the tiny house community. And then that community hopefully would then morph into having the ability to, within that community, provide childcare for one another, whether it be through the moms, or if we introduced another group of people into it, like the elderly.
So tell me, I love this, because like I said, it's not, the car isn't exactly what I would think of first, but it's very clear that that's obviously a thing. How many moms do you take care of at a time?
I think right now we have actually helped about 65 to 70 mothers.
Okay.
And between them, they tend to average about 2.5 children, so 2 to 3 kids.
2.5. Oh no, we just lost them. Guys, what a powerful interview. I'm so sorry that we lost them. Maybe they'll be able to pop back in. But this is what I want to share with you guys. Oh, here they come. I think they're coming back on. Let me get them back in here.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what happened there, but they're back.
Okay, so let me try that again. So we are serving about right now between 65 and 70 moms, and they on average have 2.5 kids, so somewhere between 120 and 150 kids.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your resources for a minute, because, obviously you have all these partnerships with different shops, but how about people to help? Is it just you two running stuff, or do you have some other people that help you with different programs and different systems and getting things fettered out to the right places and intake and understanding and knowing all of that?
Right.
How does that work?
Yeah. So one of the neat things about the software is I can actually send a mom a link, and she can actually do her own intake. And then she can also fill out requests for services. And so we don't have any paid staff, just because of how small we are currently. We introduced care team moms, which are other mothers that are teachers, have children of their own that actually interact with these moms and are kind of like their front person. Because once me and Ginny got up to about 40 mothers that we were managing between the two of us, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
We brought on the care team moms this year. We're still working that process and getting out all that stuff set into place. And then we have other individuals too that help as well. We've got a mother, Allison, that started with us this year that kind of is my right arm with helping with different things, and so that's been going pretty well as well.
Yeah, and then we have adult children that help, and their friends help, and then we also have a church that has volunteered both time and money, and other friends who have volunteered time and money. So but as far as people who are regularly day in, day out investing in Giving Words, right now it's the two of us and probably two other mothers, not necessarily single mothers.
Yeah, what I like about this is not only these partnerships for getting things done for the moms, but you guys have now figured out these, like a caring mom that you said, a care mom. So you've got people that have either gone through your system or maybe had some of this experience who say, I want to help and I can be a mentor because I've done this. And that's incredible. So now you've not only partnered stores and shops and things, but you're partnering people that have graduated, if you will, out of your program. Fantastic. Yeah,
we actually have 2 care team moms on our team that we actually help. And then we've got some other moms that have a heart for single moms. And so it's a very neat mix. And you can go to the website and look at the care team, and everyone has a story, which is kind of neat to read those stories.
So as we wind up here, tell us how to find your website. How do we find you? If somebody wants to get in touch with you, they want to ask you more questions, they want to refer somebody, where are you? How do they find you? And give us your website, all of those good things.
Okay. So we're located in Louisa, Virginia, and that's pretty much 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I just lost them again. I'm hoping that they will come back. I'm trying to type in the comments where they are, and they're, here they come. Back again.
We are in the country with slow internet.
Okay, that's okay. It happens. All right. So I'm typing in the comments, Louisa, Virginia.
Yeah. And so you can get to us, www.givingwordsva.org. And then that website will give you the phone number, access to our Facebook. We do a lot of stuff on Facebook. And so the website will pretty much get you everything else, the phone number and all that stuff.
Excellent. I just added those things in the comments so everybody can see them in the comments below. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, and as we wind up, I can't tell you enough how exciting this is to see this is the true development of an entrepreneurial project, nonprofit, profit, whatever it is, because, seeing you guys and the wheels turning on how you can facilitate the things that you need to get that to work. It's just absolutely incredible. And I just love having been able to tell your story. So tell us, I'm sure as you've gone through this process, you probably ran into a brick wall or a barrier of some sort. What's your go-to piece of advice for somebody who's thinking about doing something similar to you're doing, or a business, or, just needs to get that kick in the butt to say, this is what you need to think about. Keep this in mind.
So do you want to do?
I'll let you start.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, it's the word hope. And so I've been through so many valleys in my own life. And some of those valleys, I didn't think I was going to come out of. And I fought my way out of it. And when you do that, it just is a heart shift. And so, and then if you study successful people, most people that have become successful have continued to do the same thing every day, day after day after day. If you look at Giving Words, I had that vision in 2008. I held on to that vision until 2017. If we would have done something with Giving Words in 2010, it wouldn't have worked, because our life changed so much. And so when you have that mission, you have that vision, hold on to it, continue to look at it, and it will modify. The only thing constant in our life is change. And so when we embrace change, we can see the beauty in it. And so as our lives drastically changed, we just had to look at the beauty in it and how can we operate in that beauty. So just to continue to have hope, continue to strive.
Oh, I hope I don't lose them again. I think we're stuck again because they are in the country. Oh, no. Well, what I'll do, guys, is as we're wrapping up, well, maybe they're coming back in. Here they are.
Can you hear? Here we are. All right. So mine's short anyway. I would say, view hardship as training, not as an obstacle. That we have experienced lots of hardships. Like, we have a great marriage. We really enjoy being together, but our lives are harder sometimes because we're married. But we viewed those hardships as training rather than obstacles, and we have grown stronger, and we're a much more dynamic team than we would be as individuals.
You guys are amazing. Everybody would love that. I love that high five. And you guys are amazing. You've taken all of the passion and all of the strife and put it together to make other people's lives better. And I'm just so proud to have gotten to meet you and interview you. And I can't thank you enough for your time. You guys have just been amazing.
Really glad to be here. Thank you.
Stay connected, that we can, see your progress and see what's going on and continue to share your story.
Absolutely. We're very grateful and blessed, and just thank you so much.
Yes, thanks a lot.
I can't thank you enough for being on. All right, guys. So if you want to follow Ginny and Eddie's story, you can go to their website, which I posted in the comments. You absolutely need to watch the video. Eddie shared with me a video that's on their website that is incredible and very profound and really speaks to the story that they have. Because sometimes it's hard to put all of these words into a vision in your head until you see these kinds of things in action. So go to their website, check that out. And if you have any questions with them, you can certainly reach out to them. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. I will be reposting the link to this on LinkedIn and tagging Eddie, and he's going to be able to share that information. You can also go to my YouTube, Connie Fuchsa, and you can see any other interviews or see the replay of this. Also on my website, conniefuchsa.com, where I help entrepreneurs be able to tell their stories and share their expertise. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your day. Again, Eddie and Ginny, thank you so very much for your time.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed Entrepreneurial Live Interviews with Connie Fuchsa. We'll be back again real soon. Have a great rest of the day.